Hi there, and welcome back to Settled Carlisle 68 and my N Gauge Layout Westmorland. Hope you enjoyed the intro up to the Settle and Carlisle line. I only live just over half an hour away from Settle, so just had a trip up there. First time for around 12 months now since last visited the line. I just took the opportunity. I was off last week to get up there. But the idea of today's video is to go through the final design for the layout, and that's based on two things really. To try and base it upon a true location, which is really the Kirby Stephen Station, which I think I've mentioned in previous videos, but also to take on board a lot of the comments that were left on the last video, which I'm really appreciative of. It really gave me some fresh ideas as to where I should be going with the goods yard and the station, as you'll see when we go on to the layout. But it really covered 5 topics, and that was to go back to more scenery, also to look at using or fitting DCC in the future, and also the inclusion of a run round loop and a head shunt, which I'd sort of had but wasn't really happy with the design of how it was laid out. And then finally the layout of the points wasn't great, so I pretty much addressed all of those, which we'll see when we go over to the layout. And one final thing, I'd really like to thank Ian Cawthorne for his photographs. You'll see the link below, and also on the channel page as well. Please check it out. Lots of great photos on there, not just of the Settled Carlisle line, but lots of other railways as well. So yeah, thanks again, Ian, for that. I'm now using his photographs for the channel logo, etc. And you'll see some of his photographs just either side of my head. So without further ado, we'll move to the layout, and we'll run through the final design. What I would like to say as well is I've used extensively this particular book for the prototypical aspects of the layout. Really good book, and it really goes through each of the stations on the Settled Carlisle line, and goes through the track plan as well for each station. So that's the Kirby Stephen one, and that's the one that I've sort of used and taken some of the elements of that on the layout, which you'll see. So yeah, let's go over to the layout and catch up as to where we're at. Okay, so here we are at the layout. So we've got the station area, the track I've taken up because I changed the points at the other end to trailing points. So they're now in place. Again, that was one of the recommendations and comments that have been left from the last video. But nothing's changed at the station. That's as you'll see from the Kirby Stephen plan, that's pretty much what's there at the station. I think the only sort of change is the station master's house is right next to the station, similar to what's at sort of Settle. And in the it's pre-80s, the footbridge wasn't there, but it is there now on the current Kirby Stephen station, so I've chosen to include that. So again, looking at the Kirby Stephen track plan, you'll see that the goods shed is quite a way back down the line. It'll probably be where, in real terms, where the viaduct is now, but obviously I've not got the space to do that. So the goods shed is where it's at. So we've got a couple of lines coming in there from the 2 points, as you'll see. So one obviously leads into the goods shed, and the other one I've got as a bay for say a branch line train. And then what the intention is now is to have the cattle dock here with a ramp for the cattle dock. So again, that's similar as I can probably get it to the Kirby Stephen sort of plan. So moving down the line, we've got the signal box, so that's moved up slightly from where it currently was before. We had it here, so I think it's better located further up where the points are, and you can see better down the line. So we've changed these points to trailing points now. As you can see, lots of wires still to be drilled and sunk down below the baseboards for the future edition of DCC. And then we've got another change whereby this point now, which leads into the goods yard, was previously way down here. So we've gained probably 12 inches, 30 centimetres of additional sort of space to get those points in and lead into the goods yard. So you're coming from that point up here to these twin points. I'm not overly happy with the way they sort of sit nose to nose on the points, but I've really not got the space to do anything else. But it looks okay and it seems to function okay. And then we've got the head shunt, so you can use the head shunt into the goods shed. So there's plenty of space and room to do that. And it also acts as a runoff, because it's the last point really before heading onto the main line. So it acts, as I say, as a runoff for potential runaway wagons, so it doesn't go onto the headlines, the main line, which is something I learnt from speaking to Ian Cawthorne on that. So moving down into the goods yard itself, I've now reconfigured the points, so it's point after point, running down the full length all the way up to the engine shed, which is now moved back to its original location. If you recall on the last video, I'd moved it from there to where this farmyard is going to be. So from my trip up to Settle Carlisle this week, realised lots of farms by the sides of the railways. I already had the buildings, I was going to have them up on the hill, but I thought I'd bring them down and make this into a more scenic type area with hopefully lots of trees in sort of this area and bushes, and make it look like a true farmyard with tractors and so on. And then I've moved the workmen's cottages back to where they were. But more importantly, let's get back to the track plan. So we've got the run round loop. So you come in down here, pull the locomotive into here, and then back out, and then that could be run round either back into the coaling stage here. I'm thinking of possibly even having a coaling tower here, one of the ratio kits, so the loco will sit underneath the tower. I don't think the smaller coaling stages are probably suitable for some of the locos I'm going to be pulling in there, some of the express locos, etc. And then we've got these two sidings that feed in from these 2 points, and I'm looking to curve this track. We can quite make it out on the video. To curve this track towards coming into this sort of corner, and the idea of this is it it basically sort of copies what is on the Settled to Carlisle Kirby Stephen Station, and this siding would terminate with some coal staiths where these grey trucks are, and then we'd also have a loading dock here with a crane for this particular siding. So again, I've tried to replicate what's sort of prototypical on the Kirby Stephen Station. So I've got all the main aspects: the goods shed, the cattle dock, the goods loading platform, the coal staiths. So the only additional features are the engine sheds, or engine shed, which isn't on the any of the Kirby Stephen, any of the Settled Carlisle line in that format where it's a double engine shed. So that's going to be the final layout. I've just got some more droppers for the DCC to add on each of these sidings. So they'll be drilled and the wires just hanging down for the moment until I convert over to DCC, probably in the next 2, 3, 4 months. Probably low priority at the moment, but it's something I will be looking to do. So that's where we're at. I'm sorry there's not much more in terms of scenics this week. I did video applying the scenics to the top of the quarry, but the video really just showed my arm with the static grass applicator. You couldn't really see much else, so I've decided not to use that, and I'll get the camera in a better position, and we'll cover some scenics in the goods yard in the coming weeks. So that'll be part 2, along with obviously weathering this this quarry building. Also move the tracks around in this area as well to give more space at the back end, so this conveyor now isn't sat on the on this ledge. It's actually in the goods yard itself, so I think that looks more realistic. And I've also taken up the rocks that were here. I didn't really like them, they didn't really look very realistic, so I'm going to just scrape those up properly, and then probably just put some loose stones and lots of grass and maybe even some trees to separate the quarry out from the main lines, and also some fencing. I think I've run out of stone wall now. So that's the plan. As I say, sorry, not any sort of demos or scenics this week, but hopefully that's give you a better insight into the final design of the track plan, which is more in line with the Settled Carlisle line now. But thanks again to the subscribers who commented on the last video. It really did make me go away and have a rethink, and I think I've ended up with a much better balanced goods yard and station area. So that's great. Thanks again. Okay, so I think we're going to end it there. So these are Ian's photographs that he's kindly sent to me. So yeah, really pleased with those, and we'll end it there, and take care, and see you soon. Okay, cheers guys, bye.